今から日本語の講座を行います。
ようこそ皆さん、ようこそ。
Alright. Okay. Q&A with Chris Broad from abroad in Japan, who has, let's see, 8 times as many subscribers as me.
How many subscribers do you have?
40,000.
20 times.
Oh God. that would be 20
Let's
times.
crack on with the question.
Why did you start making YouTube videos?
I made YouTube videos because when I came to Japan, there weren't that many YouTube videos around about Japan. Mm-hmm. So I looked up where I was going in Tohoku, in the middle, like quite north, middle of nowhere, and there was nothing about it.
Did you make videos before you came to Japan?
Yeah, I used to make a few corporate videos. I wasn't particularly good at it. It was more just a hobby that I did for fun. I often dreamed of being a filmmaker, but I put the dream in the dustbin when I realised it was such a difficult dream.
I think I remember
be able to do it. So, yeah. But things have worked out pretty well since then. And YouTube's actually a pretty good kind of pretty good stepping stone.
Yeah.
How do I get stepping stone pedestal? It's a pretty good stepping stone to that kind of dream, that goal.
Pedestal and stepping stone, I think, are better to mix up than the difference between 20 and 8 in terms of division. So, what has been the best aspect of living in Japan / experiencing the culture so far?
Meeting Dogen.
You heard it here
he's
first.
Actually called Kevin.
Oh no! Interesting story. When I first met Chris, December 2016, he didn't know that my name, that I had a real name, that wasn't Dogen. So it was like 3 hours after we had finally met, and he said to me, "Dogen isn't a very common name, is it?" And I said, well, no, because it's not my real name. I had a nice little guffaw. Do you watch anime or manga?
Me? Yeah, I got into it since moving to Japan, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of my favourite directors is Satoshi Kon.
Yeah.
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 Perfect Blue.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite
Paprika.
anime. Yeah.
I think my favourite one of his movies is Millennium Actress.
Did you see Your Name?
I did.
All the rage.
Yeah. I went in thinking, I don't want to like this because everyone likes it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the same.
Yeah.
And I watched it, I was like, actually, it's quite good.
That's basically the exact same experience.
Didn't see the twist coming at all. Really good movie.
Do you have any favorite Ghibli movies? Or have you seen that many?
No. And actually, no, I haven't seen many studio
Any?
Ghibli movies, yeah.
ジブリの映画は見たことがない。Really?
That's pretty shocking. I think I watch at least like 3 or 4 films a week, and I haven't seen a single. That's a lie. Totoro. This monster just going for like 2 hours. I've learned that the best thing going into movies is just to not have any expectations.
Yeah, I agree. I'm planning on going through all the hoops to hopefully teach English once I've finished my degree. Curious, as a music performer major / education major, how uncommon is it for foreigners to teach subjects outside English? I've got a couple years and already learning Nihongo.
Quite rare.
Yeah,
it's quite rare.
Yeah, I've never...
I know some sports ALTs who do things like teaching rowing or certain specific sports, but generally it's English or the options are limited.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got a French friend who really struggled to find a French teaching job.
Come to English to teach Japan. But
did you say come to English to teach Japan?
I probably did. Come to English to teach Japan.
I didn't come to English to teach Japan. I came to Japan to teach English with the idea of doing something after finishing teaching.
What is your favorite hobby outside of YouTube? I think that's a good question.
Literally all my time is film a video, write about a video, film the video, edit the video. The whole process takes up all my time, but I guess the one thing I do spend my free time in at the moment is kind of learning about filmmaking.
Yeah.
Like I've tried to bump up the level and the quality of the videos in the last 6 months. I got a new camera. I mean, that's the easy way of doing it, right? Getting a nice new shiny camera.
But I think the fact that I didn't know that you got a new camera speaks to the increase of the quality.
Perhaps. And that is because in my free time, when I'm not making another bloody video, I'm learning how to make the videos better. Mm-hmm. Especially with something like travel. Mm-hmm. I want to make it feel like you're there, the viewer's there, right? And so I've been thinking, what's the best way I can do that? How can I do that?
Yeah.
And having a new camera has allowed me to do some nice new cool camera shots.
So do you...
It's stabilised, you can do much more dynamic shots. So now with the camera, rather than having a still shot of an object or a thing, pan around it, I can zoom in or out.
Do you put a lot of thought into like specific shots before you go to the location?
No, but I tend to experiment once I'm there.
So one of the main differences between our videos is that my videos, the only difference each time is the script itself. So I don't have to worry about like going to the location or getting any shots or anything like that.
Or whether or not you wear the hat.
That's another big decision I have to make. Do you do any storyboarding?
No. If it's travel, you don't have any time to do anything. You turn up with the camera, you have like an hour or so to film something, quickly think of a funny joke, try and give some background to what it is.
And do you script your content?
Sometimes if it's just me in my apartment, I'll script it. Because you can get your point across easier. It's easier to make a joke rather than think up something. But with travel, no. Yeah,
I'm basically the opposite. Like every gesture that I do in all my videos is always scripted and planned out beforehand. Because I'm so bad at impromptu content, which you guys can obviously see from this video. Come to English to teach Japan.
I'm the same. Film the same scene 3 or 4 times. Go back and look at it. Work out which one was better with the delivery. Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, subtlety in comedy is quite important. I usually do between 10 and 20 takes for each line in each one of my videos. So, bloody hell, really?
Yeah. Well, but a big part of that is the fact that I'm doing it in Japanese.
Oh, well.
So usually at least the first 5 takes are me trying to get the Japanese correct.
Right.
Then once I get the Japanese correct, I can start thinking about the naturalness of like the gestures and stuff like that. Even though most of my videos are like, I don't know, 2 minutes long, the initial raw footage is always more than an hour. So.
Oh my lord. But I mean, I can relate. When I was making comedy videos. You're pretty different in your videos to real life. Did you say come to English to teach Japan?
I probably did. I know of Japanese stereotypes of the Americans and perhaps the rest of the world, but what are our stereotypes?
What do we think of Japanese people? Stereotypes? Well, all Japanese people are friendly and polite. I find sometimes older men in particular, can be quite rude and annoying.
Yeah.
Especially on underground trains. Sometimes the only mild racism I've experienced is sometimes in the presence of elderly Japanese men. They do this thing, they go that they're not opinionated, but that's not true. They are opinionated, but they just don't say it as much as we do.
Yeah, I think that's
like in Western culture, it's like, this is my opinion and I want you to hear it now, Dogen. Whereas in Japan, it's more like people hold back their opinion. So maybe after they've had a bit to drink, it might leak out.
Is there an anime character stronger than Madara Uchiha?
Not a clue here what that is.
This is a good one. Battle of the convenience stores. Which is your favorite and why?
My favourite convenience store is 7-Eleven.
Okay, good.
It's a jack of all trades, but a master of none. For example, Family Mart has the best fried chicken. Lawson's has the best coffee. I like it because of the cheese tortillas that they've recently implemented. Those are good. They are good. I know which ones you mean.
What tips and advice would you guys give to someone who wants to come and work in Japan temporarily, like minimum 1 up to 5 years?
Teach English, surely.
Yeah. If you're only going to be here temporarily, the reason that I don't recommend English for people that want to be in Japan for more than 5 years is because oftentimes they're in love with the notion of living in Japan, and teaching English is just a means of getting to Japan, and they don't realize that they actually have no interest in teaching English. They're just really into like anime or something like that. Develop your skill set outside of teaching English during those 5 years, because you don't want to graduate from college and have a degree in something and then never build upon those skills, then teach your native language and basically perform as a tape recorder.
I did have my moments where I was like, turned down a job doing some like management consultancy job to do this.
Yeah, you've got friends back home at like Google or Deloitte.
I like
Kumi likes to go.
Can both of you smile through the entire Q&A? I think that would be very disturbing.
Like a Stanley Kubrick film. What inspired you and continues to do so?
I used to play video games a lot, but I realised that life is like one big video game. It's like an RPG, right? Every time you meet someone, it's like getting a quest, unlocking new adventures and excitement. You could go on GTA and drive around the mountains and do stuff. Like, it always surprises me when I see people play like Skyrim or GTA, and they're I don't know. The things they do in those games, I think you could do that in real life. You could build a business in real life. You could travel to places, meet people. That's what motivates me. The idea that you can think of something, right, and then actually make it happen. Whilst I hate the word YouTuber, I can't stand that word. It's still pretty empowering. It's empowering. You can do what you want. I can wake up tomorrow and think, what kind of video do I want to make? Should I go and make a video in Tokyo? Shall I go and travel somewhere? Just by meeting you here today, I've unlocked a quest, the Dogen quest.
Kyushu side
quest. The rewards were I got a free pizza.
After I got back from study abroad, I read this book by this Japanese author called, the book was called Minku by Kanehara Hitomi. It's actually one of the short stories in this book, but she writes from the perspective of a schizophrenic person, schizophrenic person, yeah. And so like every 2 pages, like she says, and what just happened was actually in my imagination, and this is what is actually happening. And it just like blew my mind that something so creative could even exist.
So the twist would become quite obvious after 6 pages.
But the way that she wrote, she made it so convincing that you stopped it. You just, it became a surprise every time that it happened.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and so I just thought, well, this is so cool. I want to get into writing.
Have you even really been far even as decided to use Even Go Want to Do Look More Like? It's a comment from the hate mail video. Someone's very cleverly remembered that from like 3 years ago.
Have you really been as far as even I forget that.
It's when you say it, you sound like you're drunk.
Do people ever ask if you guys are related? I've never gotten that, but I do think we do look slightly similar, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I think that certain like side angles, profile perhaps.
You're a lot slimmer than I am. And a bit taller.
Look to the side. People can make up their minds.
Maybe if I had the hat.
Spider-Man or the Flash?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Easy.
Would you like to learn another language too? And if your answer is yes, which language is it?
My answer is yes, and the language would be Spanish. Because I learnt it at school for like 5 years.
Porque hay un castillo.
That means because there is a castle.
Porque hay un castillo.
I know that because in my Spanish oral exam, they were like, Cristobal, ¿dónde vives? Which just means like, where do you live, Chris?
Yeah.
And I was like, because there's a castle. And it didn't really make any sense. She laughed, but I got B, so...
I have found that the more Japanese that I know, the worse my English gets, like considerably. Come to English to teach Japan. As long as I'm still very interested in creating YouTube, it'd be difficult for me to pick up another language.
I think if I did learn another language like Spanish, I would do it whilst living in Spain. I think that's the real excitement of learning a language. Half the fun of learning Japanese for me was using it, like learning a sentence, learning some grammar, and then using it. Hearing it, seeing it, whatever, in everyday life. Here's an interesting one. What 4-word idiom can you think of that sums up your life right now? Or could you make one yourself? I've eaten too much pizza to think of that one.
Pizza idioms.
Which is your least favourite Japanese word or phrase? Sugoi desu ne.
Yeah.
Sugoi desu ne. It's just that kind of... Often it means... What does it mean? It means, oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Well, that's the literal translation, but the actual translation is...
It's more just, oh, wow.
That's normal.
Yeah. So why then? Feels very superficial sometimes.
Canned response.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's like the only 2 Japan YouTube guys that I know in one picture. What is happening? Says Rossi Catberry. Catberry. She's very excited. Give a message to Rossi Catberry.
Well, I can't believe you know me... because I only have a 20th as many subscribers as Chris.
What's your favourite type of pudding and why would that be so? Says Jenny.
I don't have a favourite type of pudding.
Have a favourite type of pudding. He's got his own homemade ginger beer.
Ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Yeah.
What's the difference between ginger beer and ginger ale? Or is that just British pronunciation?
I don't know.
Yes, probably, possibly. No, in the UK, ginger beer is non-alcoholic.
Then sometimes. There's probably no difference there.
Right, just different countries.
So what's your favourite pudding? Ginger ale.
How many kilos is Chris?
I don't know.
What do you think?
Well, I'm...
How tall are you?
185 centimeters if I stand up straight.
So how much do you weigh? Can't be more than me, surely.
67, 68 kilos.
Next question.
Ginger ale.
This has just turned depressing. Do you brush your teeth before, during, or after a shower?
Depends when I shower.
Every answer. There's no definitive answer. You are turning Japanese. Are you guys YouTubers? Are you a YouTuber?
Unfortunately.
Will you be going to this Saturday's YouTuber Hanami in Tokyo?
No. Actually, I don't think I was even invited.
What are some things you wish white people realise about Japan?
I don't know what the implication of the question is. Is it?
Well, I think, what do you want white people? I guess we could just replace that with foreigners. What are some things you wish foreigners would realise about Japan? It's a country with 4 seasons. I want white people to know about Japan is you're not special just because you're in Japan.
Actually, that's a really good point. This is
You're
something.
going to plug your Logan Paul video now, aren't you?
No, no.
Extra views.
Well, this is a topic that I've been meaning to talk about. So I think there's a misconception that the current situation in Japan in terms of foreigners in Japan that can speak Japanese, people think that it's like what it was like 20 or 30 years ago, where like if you can speak Japanese really well, it's like this huge deal. And like you're 1 in a million, where in reality, like quite honestly, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of other foreigners in Japan that speak Japanese just as well as I do. They're just not making YouTube videos about it. It's a good thing to keep in mind. You're
not special.
You're not special. Well, I wanted to ask you this my question from Dogen to Chris,
Right.
and you can ask me after we're done. Maybe this is my unconscious way of saying, ask me this question. So because you're into film and cinematography, what are your favorite films and why?
One of my directors that I had to do a piece on when I was a student at school was Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
Did auteur theory, which is how you can identify somebody's work just from the way they produce.
Martin Scorsese. If it has Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro's in it. Job done. It's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
But yeah, I studied Goodfellas and Raging Bull.
Oh yeah.
And the
Goodfellas is one of my favorite
cinematography in
movies.
Raging Bull is absolutely incredible. Martin Scorsese does all sorts of tricks. He like changed the shape of the boxing ring to make it feel more intense and cramped. He put smoke in, into the boxing ring to heighten it and make it feel like it was turning into hell.
Yeah.
You know, if you watch Raging Bull, it's a masterclass in cinematography. Any film Roger Deakins seems to have done. In ways like Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, No Country for Old Men, Skyfall. Skyfall, I didn't really like it. Didn't think it was a particularly good Bond film. It was alright, but the cinematography was amazing. So often the cinematographer can raise the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you like Ridley Scott?
I do like Ridley Scott, but he can be a bit hit and miss sometimes.
I feel the exact same way.
He has some fantastic movies.
Yeah.
Like Blade Runner, the first Blade Runner is one of my top 10 movies. Gladiator.
Yep.
Love that. Beautiful movie. But yeah, he has a few hit and misses. Like Alien Covenant was a bit crap. The original Alien's amazing.
The original Alien's my favorite movie.
He's
by far.
Other directors, the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
They're pretty splendid.
Yeah, I love the Coen brothers. I like
Quentin Tarantino.
He's very identifiable, definitely.
Yeah.
I quite like some James Cameron, David Fincher.
David Fincher's, I had a bit of an obsession with him recently.
Well, David Fincher and also Aaron Sorkin. His writing is just like, it's like next level. But
yeah, The Social Network was particularly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes Anderson, fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay. I actually haven't seen either of those movies. I've heard that Budapest Hotel is like one of the...
Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favourite movies.
I have to check that out.
It's like watching a theatre performance in film form.
Oh, what about... I can't remember his name right now. Paul... Shoot. He did There Will Be Blood. He did Magnolia. He did Punch Drunk Love. Yes.
He's amazing.
Yeah, I quite like
He's
his...
really want to watch Boogie Nights again. I was
love
going to watch
that
that
movie.
last night. His best is There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what I like about your new videos. One of the things that I think is... One thing that I think is very difficult to convey in art in general, regardless of the medium, is a vague but intense emotion. So like, for example, between anger and sadness.
Right.
So it's slightly ambiguous, but intense, right? So I think this kind of reflects, oh God, this sounds so pretentious again, but human nature to a very large degree. Like it captures it very well. So a lot of like my favorite songs, like Oblivion by Grimes, it's like you can't tell if it's sad or kind of like inspiring, and I think that's what makes it really, really good. And that's why I liked the ending of There Will Be Blood so much. It's like
We don't want to explain the ending of There Will Be Blood without spoilers. It's difficult. It's a challenge in itself.
Ambiguity executed at genius levels. in my opinion.
That's a good way of saying it.
So-
It is. There Will Be Blood. That's your homework. If you haven't watched There Will Be Blood, go and watch it. Well, thanks for having me here, Dogen. It's been philosophical and ginger ale riddled conversation. It's been good fun.
Yeah, it's been very nice having Chris in Kyushu, first time here.
It is actually, I can't believe we missed that out on our discussion. First time in Kyushu, loved it so far.
Yeah.
Do people know where you live? Can I say the town we're in?
Yeah, I live in Beppu, so onsen.
And the road and the address
Hey!
No, Beppu is beautiful. It's like, I was driving down the seafront of Beppu and
Mhm.
it felt like being in California or something.
Mhm.
I've never even been to California. Just
Yeah.
what I imagine it would be like.
Palm trees and mountains and sea. And
It's a stunning place.
Yeah.
Come to Kyushu, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your cat. You're going to love it. But now I've got to go back off to the north. I think it's like 1,000 kilometres north
Mhm.
over here to Sendai.
Mhm.
So,
You should plug your shirt as well.
I've got shirts. Buy a shirt, yeah. For fuck's sake. It's like for fuck's sake. But
It's a play on words.
Ginger ale. See you later.
Yeah, see you guys.
Hey.
Peace.